Om Asato Ma Sadgamaya Tamaso Ma Jyotirgamaya Mrityorma Amritam Gamaya. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Gurur Brahma Gurur Vishnu Gurur Devo Maheshwaraha Guru Sakshat Parabrahma Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Om. My prostrations and invocation to all the Sadgurus to invite and invoke their loving grace, wisdom, and teaching and vibration to guide us on the path. When we light a lamp, the flame gives light to its surroundings. It brightens all the objects that is in the vicinity of its beam, light rays. What is required for the lamp to burn? What is required for the lamp to burn?
Some sort of a fuel for the lamp to burn, which is ghee or, a good puja oil.
Okay. A fuel, oil is required. All right.
And a flame.
Oil and wick.
Oil and wick. Oil and wick. Wonderful. Thank you, Aruna.
Fire or flame to ignite.
Okay. Wonderful. See, thank you, Anu. So we need a lamp to hold the oil. We may call it may be a candle or that holds the wax. So it requires the body of the lamp and the oil and the wick. In spite of these three, the lamp cannot burn unless there is it is only a lamp. When will it get lit?
Only if there's something that ignites the flame.
Then we light it with the source of fire.
Only when we light it. And what is that? What is that which lights? We need a light and a heat, isn't it? Fire. So when we say fire, the nature of fire is light and heat. Right? So we, in spite of all the necessary prerequisites, lamp, oil, and wick, the flame is not lit. The flame cannot glow unless it is provided with light and heat. Now here is the question. Is the light and heat intrinsic to the lamp or extrinsic to it?
Extrinsic.
Extrinsic?
Yeah, because it comes from out, because without it, the lamp can still exist, but This is needed.
Okay, wonderful. Thank you, Malti. The heat and the light, or in effect, or in summary, the fire is not a property of the lamp itself. It is given to the lamp. So the light and heat is borrowed property of the lamp. Now, another question: what is the relationship between the light and the lamp?
They are interdependent. Without oil or wick, it cannot burn or light.
Okay, the power of light. I mean the source of light. What is
Okay.
the we need? Do we all agree that the light is the borrowed property of the lamp? It is not intrinsic, but it is extrinsic to the lamp. Yes, no, all right.
Yes.
What is it?
Yes.
Yes. Okay. So if the source of light and the instrument of light are two, what is the relationship between them? What is the relationship between the lamp and, for example, the matchstick? We can use a matchstick to light the lamp. Can we
It
not?
gives life to the lamp, the
Yes.
matchstick. So it actually instills in it the basic quality of the glow of the lamp and what the lamp is doing after
Okay.
being lit.
Okay. Okay. Wonderful.
The lamp
One
cannot
is
be lit. The lamp cannot give light without that source.
Okay. So what is the difference between the source and the instrument? I mean, what
Sir,
is the relationship?
interrelated.
What
one
is the
is the cause,
relationship?
the other is the effect. Sorry.
If
One is
one
the
is not there,
cause,
the other one will not
the
exist.
other
Here is the thing. If one is not there, the other one will not exist. Can the matchbox exist?
It can.
And the matchstick has the light in it.
It can exist.
Okay. So here is the thing. If we have to understand the relationship between the source of light and the expression of light, which is the lamp. Source of light is the fire. Expression of light is the lamp. Then if we really have to understand what is the relationship between the two, we have to find out what is the state of the lamp prior to being lit. Before
one
the
is
lamp,
the cause,
just
one is
be
the cause, the other is the effect.
all right. Yes, just be with that for a moment. Can the source cause be the cause for the lamp to burn? If it is so, then in this case, in the physical case of the lamp, the lamp and the matchstick, this analogy is applicable. Of course, cause and effect principle applies. But look at it from the consciousness perspective. If we have to really understand the difference between the source and the instruments that express the source, in a way, or the instruments of expression of the source, then we have to go to a state prior to the expression. So in order to find out whether there is relationship between the fire and the lamp, we have to examine the condition or the state prior to lighting of the lamp. Prior to lighting of the lamp. All right. So what is the condition of the lamp before it is lit? The unlit lamp, where is the flame? Has it got transferred to the matchbox? If clearly we can say no from experience. So if it's not transferred to the matchbox, there is no relationship between the source, the power, and the instruments that express or manifest the power. It is similar to looking at the question, what is the relationship between electricity and light? Is there a relationship between electricity and light? Of course, one argument will be that without electricity, there cannot be light in the bulb, which is a voice. Okay, I've been getting a feedback that voice is low. Are you able to hear me now? Is it better?
Yes, yes, definitely.
Okay. So, if one way of looking at it from the point of view of the lamp or the bulb is the bulb cannot function without in the absence of electricity. If the bulb has to give light, electricity has to be present. This is what I think some of us were trying to say. Electricity is the cause and light is the effect. Perfectly valid argument, but shift the point of view to that of the electricity. From electricity perspective, if electricity were to think, then would electricity admit that it is the cause of light in the bulb? No, it wouldn't. Because when the bulb is turned off, is electricity available?
No.
It's still available. Oh,
But not for the bulb.
that's you're yeah, agreed. No? Does electricity vanish when the light vanishes?
No, it's very much present.
So it is it's
Dormant.
No, electricity is not dormant. Electricity is active.
Time when it's not lit up, maybe it's just there. But then only when you switch on and it comes on, it seems to be a bit more alive.
The recognition of electricity happens when the bulb burns. Non-recognition of electricity does not mean the absence of electricity. Therefore, if electricity can exist independent of the glowing of the bulb or the turning off of the bulb, is there any relationship between electricity and the bulb? No, literally no. But the connection or the relationship is established only when the experiencer comes into play. I want to give a talk, so I need electricity for my laptop, for the camera and the Google Meet to work, and the face to be lit. So I establish a connection or a relationship saying electricity causes the light to burn. Prior to the lighting of the bulb, when the bulb doesn't burn, but electricity is still present. So bulb light is absent, but electricity is present. There is no relationship. Now, does it matter to electricity if the bulb is turned on or off? No. If it's off, electricity just remains as electricity. It flows in, if not in this bulb, it will flow into the bulb of the living room when it is on. Or if it's not in my house, it will flow into Malti's house or Ganeshan's house. Or Dr. Venkatachalapathi's house. So, really the fact, and this is a very sensitive aspect, is there is no connection between the source and the instruments of expression of the source. A connection seems to get established or seems to be made available by the process of function, which is the glowing of the light or the burning of the lamp, which is only artificial connection. It's not real. In reality, there is no relationship. There seems to be a relationship. In other words, there appears to be a relationship. And this is what is called, granthi. The creation of that which is not there. Creation or establishing of a relationship between two entities, which is not essentially present, but appears to be present. Two entities, separate entities coming there. And relationships can be established only when there are two. When electricity is alone, can there be relationship? When the bulb doesn't burn, when the light switch is turned off, electricity is alone with itself. There can be no relationship, which means what? Electricity is independent of either the light bulb or the fan or the mixer or the grinder or the washing machine or the dishwasher or the microwave oven or the electric heater or the induction oven. But all of these appliances need electricity to function. So let's turn it to ourselves. In reality, what is the relationship between the individual and Brahman? The real relationship, what is it? Let me trigger a few thoughts. Brahman, the source, Atman, Brahman, Sakshi, witness, whatever we call, is formless, Nirakara. Okay. Whereas the individual, the person, the entity, Vasu, Vani, all of us gathered together are with form. What is the relationship between the form and formless?
I think something which has form is something that you can visualize with your senses, like your eyes and so on. Whereas something that is formless can be just perceived or felt, but which may not have a tangible, body or something like that.
Okay. So you're talking in terms of the experience. Wonderful. Yes. But is there a relationship between the two?
Yes, there is a relationship between the two because I think what is formless is within the form itself. I feel that anyway.
Okay. Okay.
And uh, we can sense it, and we can maybe even perceive it in our own consciousness perhaps, but not actually see it with our senses like our eyes.
Okay.
Cause and effect.
Um,
Cause and effect.
all right. So for every cause, for every effect, there must be a cause. And that's what we are saying. Nirmala is trying to say. Thank you. Now, if we have to look at it, relationships between any two entities start with only manifestation. Prior to manifestation, there can be no relationship because everything is one single simple whole. All right. So, I think there is an input in the chat. The form seeks the formless. Yeah. The form, this is a very nice association. The relationship exists from the perspective of the form. From the perspective of the formless, relationship do not exist. We will go a little bit step by step. Now, we do agree that when there is only one, when there is no two, there cannot be relationship. There only when there are two people, there can be relationship between them. When there is a single, simple, whole, quote unquote, entity, there is no entity as such there, but if we, for the purposes of communication, we can use it. There cannot be any relationship. Cause and effect does not apply there. The moment the unmanifest gets into the manifested realm, then multiplicity begins and relationships start. Now, what is the first manifestation? The very first manifestation is I am. The feeling, the knowingness that I exist. Prior to that, prior to I am, nothing is manifest. Nothing is known. How do we know when it arises, when it manifests? Is this a one-time phenomenon of manifest, like a big bang, things have happened? No, it is an everyday phenomenon for us. We know it every moment. When we are asleep, in deep sleep, during the night, and as soon as we get up from bed, when the mind and the senses wake up, then what happens? The feeling of I amness rises, where on the reflecting surface in the intellect, I exist. Now, this is otherwise called the beingness or the feeling of I amness. Now, this is the lamp that is lit, because without that, without I am, the knowledge, no other secondary knowledge is possible. Without knowing that I exist, can I know the laptop exists? Can I know the apple exists? Can I know the banana exists? Can I know you exist without knowing that I exist? So the first manifestation, or the very first lamp that is lit within me, the individual, is I am. With that, all knowledge arises. Now, is the beauty of I am, the knowledge of I am is what is reflected in the intellect. And what is its reflection about? It is the reflection of the source in the intellect. When I wake up, when I am asleep, I am dissolves into itself, into the seed form. That is why in sleep, no experience is possible. Only after I wake up, I can say that I slept well. The knowledge that I slept well comes up only when I am rises in the waking state. So without the flame, I am, no experience, no knowledge, no action is ever possible. But this I am is a very funny fellow. It is formless. Can you fix a shape to I am? Simply the knowingness of I am, the I amness as I wake up. You can't fix a form and a shape or a characteristic or any attribute to I am. So this is actually the I am is an impersonal entity. And it is very open. It is an entity with zero resistance. Now, because it has no resistance at all, it can attach itself to anything. So I am, the impersonal I am, when it attaches to the body, it becomes I am the body. When it attaches to the mind, it becomes I am the mind. When it attaches to the intellect, it becomes I am the intellect. I am intellect. I know. So I do is an association with I am the body. I came to the satsang. I walked 2 miles today. So it's the attachment of I am with the body. I feel. I am hungry, the feeling of hunger. I am happy is the association of I am with the mind. So I am becomes the experiencer. I am the intellect. I know. The knower becomes I am the intellect. So doer, experiencer, and knower are the roles played by I am when I am gets attached to the body, mind, or intellect. It's like clay. Clay can take any shape. So you make it into a shape of a pot, it'll take the shape of a pot. You make it into a shape of a tumbler, it'll take a shape of a tumbler. Why? Because clay lends itself to any shape. It has zero resistance. Similarly, because I am is attributeless and open 100%, unconditioned completely, it can take on any attribute that comes along its way, in its path. Now, this is the beauty of I am. So, the very lamp I am is the source of all doing, all experiencing, and all knowing. Yet, there is no relationship between doing and I am, between knowing and I am, between experiencing and I am. The relationship is artificial, temporary, just functional. The idea of cause and effect with respect to the source and the instrument that expresses the source is purely functional, not real. That is the first step. Why are we discussing this? Because when I am gets attached to the body, there is a mix-up between I am and the body, between the self and the body, self and the instrument, the source and the instrument. There's a total mix-up, and when the subject identifies with the object, then the subject becomes the object. What happens when there is a strong identification with the object? Whatever happens to the object, whatever happens to the body, mind, or intellect, the subject feels it has happened to me. Is it true? Nothing has ever happened to the subject. But it seems that subject is impacted. A simple example will drive home the point. Suppose there is a still water in a lake and the sun is shining, early morning sun. What will we see? We'll see a still reflection in the water. So the reflection can be considered to be I am. And the water is the intellect or the medium of reflection. And of course, the lake is the body that houses the water. The earth, the pit of the lake, the volume. Right? Now, suppose the lake, the still water becomes wavy because of the cool breeze that blows over the water. What happens to the reflection? Does the reflection move?
It doesn't seem so calm. I mean, it seems wavy, like the
Ah,
waters.
you said it. To whom? To the viewer.
To the viewer.
Ah.
Yeah, the person who's
But
looking
what
at
happens actually to the reflection? Does it move or is it still
Mm.
still?
it is still the water makes
It is
it
independent
appears.
of the water.
Yeah.
It appears to move depending on, or appears to be still depending on the nature of water at that time, whether the water is still or not. The reflection itself is completely steady. It doesn't move. But when there are waves or ripples on the water, it appears to be moving. This distinction we have to note. As children, we have all gone to exhibitions and circus and sat in a giant wheel. Right? Now, in a giant wheel or merry-go-round, we sit on the seat, we close the gate, put the seat belt, we are fastened tightly on the seat of the giant wheel in one giant wheel cabin. Right? Now, when the giant wheel moves, who moves? The giant wheel or me on the seat? If I move with the giant wheel, will I be on the giant wheel or will I topple from the giant wheel?
We'll topple, no?
So do I move in the giant wheel?
No.
I have a fastened seat belt. In the car when I drive, do I move? Of course, I might move my hand steering, but
That's for steering, yes.
Essentially in the car, do I move? No. What moves? Car moves.
Moves.
So the movement of the vehicle, in this case, the instrument of expression, creates a feeling of movement in the source which is independent of the vehicle. Is there any relationship between the driver of the vehicle and the vehicle? Real relationship. Apart from the relationship in the society, I am the owner of my car. RC book is in my name. That is functional. But is there, even physically, is there a relationship between me as a driver or as a passenger of the vehicle and the vehicle? There is no real relationship. But relationship is functional. It is required for functioning in the society. If I cannot go and tell everybody there is no relationship between me and my car, then in the society, I must say I own the car so that, if somebody comes and tries to do something, I can protect it. So the essence is this: relationships are functional, they are not real. Similarly, the source, which is I am, is ever still and impersonal. Because of the feeling of movement, it appears to move, and the movement is only an appearance. Then I identify with that movement. Then what happens? The very first error happens. That is, I think I am moving. what is happening? When I say I did this task, who has done it? What does it mean? The body has, as an instrument, has done the task. Like the driver was very still in the vehicle and the vehicle moved, along with the vehicle, the driver appeared to be moving. Same way, I am is still, steady, and impersonal. The very first error that happens because of the association with the body, mind, and intellect is personalization of the impersonal. What does that mean? I say I do, I did, or I experienced, or I know. These are the three fundamental claims of personalization: doing, experiencing, and knowing. What is the reality? Doing is impersonal, knowing is impersonal, and experiencing also is impersonal. How do I make it personal? By claiming I did, I know, and I experience. Who is that fellow who claims? That mischief maker? If that error, the fundamental error, personalization of the impersonal, is removed, then there is complete freedom. So this claim is what we have to investigate. All of this seems to be so, but in reality it is not so. I seem to be the doer. I seem to be the experiencer. I seem to be the knower. Why? Because of the mix-up between the part that is still and steady along with the part that is ever moving and changing. Now, why does this happen? The flame I am needs the wick, needs the oil, needs the lamp. That means the flame I am is dependent on this body-mind complex. The other way also we have to be careful. Body-mind gets enlivened only because of I am. So downstream, there is a mutual interdependency. When in form, I am sustains, when how the feeling that I exist can exist only as long as I am embodied, isn't it? As long as I'm alive. So what sustains the feeling? What is the food for I am? It's the food body. Annamaya. The grain, every grain. Now, what is the food for the body? How will the body move and act? It's only because of the energy provided by I am. How will the mind function? How can the mind think? How can the intellect engage in decision making? Only because I am provides that energy. How will the bulb throw light? Only because electricity passes through it. So functionally, for for the instruments, for the body, mind, intellect to live. I am is the source and the essential component. Similarly, for I am to sustain itself, it can sustain on the lamp and because of the lamp. The flame that burns on the wick burns on the wick of the lamp and burns as long as the oil is there. So the flame is also fed by the lamp, wick, and oil. At the same time, if the lamp was an animated body, in this case, assume the body, mind, and intellect complex composite is the lamp. And it's conscious. So the consciousness or the movement or the liveliness comes because of the flame and the flame of I am. But when there is a strong association between I am is steady, simple, single whole, and the body, mind, the instruments of I am, they are always subject to change. So this is always changing. When these two get fused, like the merry-go-round or the giant wheel, then when the moving gets fused with the unmoving also appears to move. So how do we overcome this error? Just as the movement of that which still is an appearance, with the fusion of the moving with the unmoving, the first step is to separate out the moving from the unmoving. Not physically, but logically and in understanding. We can never separate the body from the I am. It gets separated only upon death. Physical death. So that is not what we are talking about. As long as the reflection is, as long as the reflected medium is there, I am will be present. Right? So the reflected medium is what we call the life of a human being, the Sukshma Sharira, the intellect. Right? So in that case, now, because with the movement, what happens to the body? I am under the illusion that it is happening to me. In that case, I am subject to both happiness and sorrow. Remember, when does happiness and sorrow, the duality, come? Only when there is a fusion between the moving and the unmoving. If there is no fusion, if there is no attachment between the unmoving and the moving, then no happiness, no sorrow, no success, no joy. All these dual feelings and emotions, experiences will vanish. So if we don't want this tug of war, being pulled on one side in one instant and another side in another instant, when these are attached, like a pendulum, it may swing to one side and I say I am happy, or it may swing to the other side and I'll experience sadness. So the constant experience of happiness and sadness, the extent, the duration may vary, but the experience of the opposites is an inevitable fact of all association. So if we don't want to experience the opposites, if we think we want only happiness, then it is not possible in association. How do we do? Let's explore another possibility. Let's explore the dissociation. Dissociating I am from the body, mind, intellect, composite. Not physically, but by knowing that the body, mind, intellect is the changing part, like the water in the lake. It's either still or wavy, and I am is the steady part, like the reflection of the sun or the moon in the lake. The reflection is ever still, steady, unmoving. The water, depending on the environmental conditions, may move or be still. But whether the water moves or is steady, the reflection isn't affected at all. It is always the same. But it may appear to move when the reflection is closely attached to the water. In fact, reflection is inseparable from water. Without water, there is no reflection. Therefore, we have to logically separate out the moving and the unmoving. In other words, we have to separate out, we have to unmix the mix-up. And this is the neti principle. I am not this, I am not this. Right? Shall we just do a short meditation on this briefly? Let's watch our breath and the body. See the breath moving in and out. As we sit on our seat, chair, or the sofa, or any place, we breathe. I can recognize the movement of the breath in and out. With this movement, I can also see the variations, whether the breath is moving freely or if there is an obstruction in the nostril. The breathing is deep or shallow. As I recognize the breathing, I know I am separate from the breath. I am not the breath. I am watching the breath. I am still, but the breath is moving. That which is still, I am. That which is moving, that which is changing, I am not, but I can observe those changes. I can observe those movements. With this knowledge, just be in silence for a few minutes. If the stillness gets interrupted with any movement, then just recognize the movement, recognize the change, and know that you are stillness that observes the change, and remain there. Let us slowly open our eyes. This principle is fundamental to overcoming all limitations. Why? Because happiness can be achieved by two ways. One is by the process of contact or attachment or association. Okay. I like this shirt, so when I wear it, when I associate, when I come by through the process of contact, through the process of association, I get a feeling of happiness. But every association comes with its opposite. For example, even when two people are in relationship, the feeling of happiness of coming together, of husband and wife, it's extremely joyful, even emotionally getting connected to each other. And physically, of course. But the association principle has its limitation or foundation in that it has opposite set of experiences. It always comes in pairs. If there is happiness, there is joy, there is unhappiness also embedded. If we get success through a contact in a business venture, it can also potentially fail. has its limit. It comes with failures as well. If there's a profit gained out of association, it can result in a loss as well. So the associative principle always has pairs of opposites in terms of experience. Now, compared to that, look at the dissociative principle. That means when I dissociate, when I remove the contact with the other, then what is the nature of happiness? How do we know? Very simple. What is the most intimate relationship that is present in the human society today? Psychologists say mother-child relationship is the most intimate. There's a lot of joy in that relationship, even though the mother gets tired by the time the evening comes, because children have a lot of energy. Still, because of the joy the mother carries on, all the reserves energy get pumped up because there is so much joy. But at the same time, there'll be tiredness, and there will also be some strain in the relationship as we go along. But what is more intimate than, even more than, the mother-child relationship? It is my relationship with my body, isn't it? That it is so strong that my relationship with other comes next. My relationship with my body comes first, and my relationship with others, whether it's my wife, my parents, my children, comes. It may come a close second, but it comes later. So when I associate with this body, I have umpteen number of experiences. Joy when I'm healthy, energetic, and sorrow when I'm getting into ill health, unhappiness, ill health, or experience frustration because of changing conditions in the environment. Now, the strongest relationship between me and my body, what happens when I sleep? Is there an association with my body or a disassociation with my body? In sleep, experientially, my body is not there. So what was attached intimately to me gets separate as a natural process. As a natural process. That is why even the most painful pain in the waking state disappears when we go to sleep. It's the most joyous, blissful state. Why? Association has turned into dissociation. Contact has turned into separateness. Now, this is a temporary state. We can't sleep endlessly. We have to wake up and do work. Then what does Vedanta say? Achieve the sleep-like state in our waking state through dissociating from what is being associated. And that is the process of jnana. through jnana, through understanding, when I clearly know I am not the body, I am consciousness, then I stand apart from the body in understanding, not physically, in the knowing principle as awareness. Then it's a blissful state. I can see, watch changes happening to the body, mind, intellect, and yet remain unaffected. It is like the umpire in the cricket match. He watches the players hitting a six or getting out, or the fielder falling and getting hurt. He just goes about doing his job of watching dispassionately and providing the verdict according to the rules of the game. So, the witness state, the seer, the witness is an entity separating from that which changes. That is the first step to realizing my true nature. It's the way of overcoming the mix-up, unmixing the mix-up. Now, to that question, the next thing comes. We cannot stop at that. Right? So, when the lamp burns, why? Because as long as the lamp is burning, in the flame, there is I am, and there is vital energy or the prana, and the mana, the manas, and the body. What are the roles of these? The prana moves the body, engages the body in activity. And manas interprets. Whereas I am, which is just the I amness, the source, is a pure witness. The mind communicates, prana activates, but I am remains as a witness. As long as we understand that I am is unmovable and is a pure witness, it's impersonal. The activation or the movement is because of prana, and the communication is because of the mind. Everything will continue without any problem. Each one will perform their role to the fullest efficiency because there is no interference. The moment there is association, there is an interference, and then the functioning becomes up and down, inefficient, unproductive. Isn't it? Now, in this flame, in every flame is the first manifestation. There are three gunas: sattva, rajas, and tamas. The three qualities that come with every flame. What is sattva? What is rajas? Rajas is the pranic energy that creates the movement. It doesn't allow I am to remain still. It creates a sense of movement by attaching. And what is I am? I am is pure sattva. And sattva is the witness. Nothing happens to it. But it appears to move because of association. It appears to change because of association. Whereas the one that claims the credit for the movement is tamas. Prana is the one that moves things in the universe, in the body. And that is the rajasic energy. But that somebody else comes and claims that I did it. It claims the movement. It claims the enliving. That is the tamas. And remember, all of these are in the first manifestation, the flame of I am. I am comes as the flame of I am comes as a package of sattva, rajas, and tamas. And that gets expressed through the body-mind composite in action, behavior, thoughts. So that which does not belong to me, I steal it. That is tamas. Coveting something else. I don't create any movement. Prana creates movement. I steal that credit. That is tamas. The moment I take credit for what is not due to me, I am tamasic. The moment I act on anything, I am rajasic. When I am getting into a position that I simply witness things that are happening, I am sattvic. And I'm a mix of all three. So the question is, what is my predominant attribute? Can I move from tamasic to rajasic to sattvic? And in the pure witness state, I am purely sattvic, able to observe things that are happening to me and within me as a body, yet not be affected. It is not a compromise. It is an understanding. Oh, nothing is happening to me is not a compromise. It's a crystal clear clarity in thinking and seeing, understanding and seeing. And that is the witness state. Now, we have come up to the level of flame, which is the manifested form. But we shouldn't stop there. What happens prior to the flame, prior to the lighting of the flame, when there is no flame? There is nothingness. There is no flame. No flame means there is no sattva, rajas, tamas. There is no, it becomes trigunatita. But there is one step, one subtle step still there. When there is nothing, when there is no flame, when I say it is completely dark, what is there? Is the witness of nothingness still present as an entity? Is the one who recognizes nothingness still present as an entity? If that is so, is nothingness complete, whole, or is it interrupted by an entity that experiences nothingness? Is it broken? Is nothingness broken? Yes. So even I am that recognizes that there is nothing, even that, I can't say, when I say I am nothing, how do I know it? When I say I am something, I am this body, then I dissociate, I say I am not this body, then the immediate next step is to claim I am nothing. From I am something, I claim I am nothing. But that is still a claim. The claimer, the entity that claims, is still present in the experience of nothingness. So there is some stray element of interruption or distortion in nothingness when there is an experience of nothingness. So when the flame finally extinguishes, when I am merges with the light of the witness, what happens? Where is the entity I am? It's completely immersed in the light, in the absolute. Then is there somebody to claim I am nothing? No. So even I am nothing is a preliminary step to the absolute. Nothingness, absolute, is the only thing that remains. I am not there. I am is completely dissolved. Then that nothingness is whole, complete, unbroken. That is why in Vedanta, that state, the seers have said, is akhanda. Akhanda means unbroken. The moment the one who recognizes nothingness comes, nothingness is broken. It becomes khanda. So nothing can be said about nothingness except to be there. So that recognition in meditation, to say that I am is actually consciousness from I am the body. When we sit for meditation, if I sit saying that I am observing the body, I am the sensation, then it is going to lead, is that a reality? It is ignorance, because I am not the body. Prabhuji, my teacher, often says the starting point in meditation is most important. If I meditate in ignorance, what happens? Ignorance is strengthened. If I meditate in wisdom, wisdom of the knowledge of Vedanta, I am, then wisdom is strengthened. So the starting point in meditation is very important. That is why Prabhuji often says, as a starting point, it is always jnana leading to dhyana, not dhyana giving jnana. The other way doesn't work. You start with the jnana. I am consciousness, I am infinite, and sit in meditation. Infinity consciousness is strengthened. When I sit in meditation that I am Vasu, I am a male, I am this body, then guess what? What is strengthened? The body awareness gets strengthened. I am a male is strengthened. So it's just moving from fire to fire pan with a temporary relief. But the real purpose of meditation, Vedantic meditation, is to be established in jnana. And that is called nididhyasa. So as we sit in meditation, whatever practice we follow, the starting point becomes very important. I am absolute. This body is an appearance of the Absolute. It has no relationship with the Absolute whatsoever. Start with that, remain in that, and we will get established with that, in that. Let's not do the reverse. Let's not silence the mind and hope that everything will get automatically come. In the silent mind, there must be one jnana thought. I am consciousness, I am infinite, I am Brahman. And remain in that thought, I am Brahman, so that I am knowledge, direct experience, direct knowledge sinks into the unconscious mind. When I am Brahman sinks into the unconscious mind, then what will be my behavior in the conscious state? Whatever rises from my unconscious mind will be my conscious behavior. That means if I am Brahman thought rises from my unconscious mind in the conscious state, then my actions, my thoughts, and my words will be representative of I am Brahman, knowledge and wisdom. Otherwise, it will represent I am Vasu. What is blissful? Actions representing I am this person, this personality, this body, or thoughts, words, and deeds representing and reflecting and expressing I am Brahman. Thank you so much. Thank you for your patient listening. We will conclude this session here. I offer this session to all the masters and to my Sadguru. Om Tat Sat.